We're Maria and Michael, a married couple from the UK who decided we didn't want a normal life. So we sold all our stuff, ditched our flat, and embraced the life of house sitting and travel. After spending 6 months in the North Island, we are now in the South and we are doing even more exploring. So join us this week to find all the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit filming locations in the South Island. Our first stop is to Arrowtown. We're here to find the Ford of Bruinen, I'm sure I've said that incorrectly, where Arwen kind of faces off with the Nazgul while she's trying to save Frodo and take him to Rivendell. Let's go. To get to the exact coordinates, you either can go up this way and go up and then down a little path, or you can wade through the river like I did.
We think this is it. So in the movie, Arwen is across on this side, we think, with the ring wraiths and Nazgul coming from over that direction. It's all overgrown now, but they come down a very obvious path. There's an obvious path. The river flows to the left here, and it does so in the movie as well. And we think with the perspective, Arwen would have been here, and they've used the forced perspective as they have done in various other parts of the movie as well. So we think this is it. If you want him, come and claim him.
Our next stop is to Lake LOTR in Queenstown. We have driven up here on a very gravelly road and now we have to hike 45 minutes up to Lake LOTR.
The location, the Dimraldale, which is where the Fellowship end up after escaping Moria. Let's go. Now, just over this ridge should be the lake. Hey Maria, what do your elf eyes see? She sees it! Oh wow. We think we might have been mistaken, and by we, I mean me. So I thought these rocks would form the exit, the escape of Moria where they're mourning Gandalf. However, we found out that the only Lord of the Rings resemblance here is this backdrop is what's behind Aragorn, where when he looks in the distance and sees Lothlorien. We think that might be the only Lord of the Rings connection now, which, to be fair, still amazing to see this with or without the Lord of the Rings connection. But yeah, we think that's the only thing here.
The next location is Glenorchy. So when you get to Glenorchy, you need to make sure you actually cross over the bridge, cross the Dart River to get to the vantage point you need for the photo.
You want to be on this side of the bridge where Maria is for the view. In true New Zealand fashion, we've driven an hour around the corner from Queenstown to Glenorchy, and we've got to Isengard Lookout. And this is the backdrop they used for Isengard and for Orthanc Tower. We're further away, and I think we need to be a bit to the left, but to the left here is farmland. We've also got some trees that are in the way, So we're doing our best. It's also been 20 years. We're just trying our best not to basically be encroaching on someone's land as well. I'm very satisfied with this, and it's spectacular.
Our next location is just outside of Queenstown.
We are now attempting to go and see Ithilien, where Frodo, Sam and Gollum are lying on the ground and they see the Oliphaunts. About a 20 minute walk, we think.
It is along the Mount Crichton loop track. So when you see the sign for that, you park in that car park and then you walk down.
We have no signal, we have no way to really know, but we're just going to follow the trail and see how we go.
This is it. We've done it.
This is, and you really like this one. You really feel like, okay, we're here.
I can see the Oliphaunts now.
Oh, 100%. Look, Mr. Frodo. It's an Oliphant. No one at home would believe this.
Our next location was on the other side of Queenstown.
It's the Argonath statues in the Fellowship of the Rings. They're rowing down the River Anduin and they come up to these statues. So those statues were here. Beautiful spot just outside of Frankton, which is just outside of Queenstown. But it's actually the Kawarau suspension bridge, the Kawarau bungee centre as well. Oh my gosh. As Maria says, it is absolutely gorgeous down there.
This next location is located in Mavora. Our next stop is
a pretty iconic one. So the scene where the three hunters, Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli, they're searching for Merry and Pippin. They've just been told by Éomer that the Uruks were slaughtered in the night. Go find them. Well, don't trust a hope. Go look for them. Don't trust a hope. And this is the area. This is it.
And for the non-nerds, it's where a big pile of orcs, right? And it's where Aragorn kicks the helmet. We have figured out where the mound and everything is. It is up here behind Michael. However, it is private land and I don't feel comfortable trespassing. They don't have right to roam like we have in England, so I don't think it's fair that we should be climbing over someone's locked gate to go and get a photo op. But we're still going to get a photo because we're pretty sure we can still nail the photo while we're here. The next location is just slightly further up the road at Northern Mavora Lake.
This is the place where the Fellowship land just before the climax of the Fellowship of the Ring. This is where Sam runs out and swims out to Frodo. Behind me here now, the other side of the lake, not the river, the lake, that's the eastern shore that does not worry Legolas. This forest is what is worrying Legolas. As Maria will know, this is my favourite scene and favourite piece of music from the entire franchise. It's by far my favourite location we've been to. There's no imagination required. It's all here. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
The following location is located just outside of Tianu.
Now this next stop should be a pretty quick one. It's a lookout over a part of the river. What river is this?
Like the river of Waiau?
We'll go with that.
In Manapuri, which is next to Tianu, it's a lookout over that river. It is meant to be, or it says on Google, and it says everywhere, it's meant to be the River Anduin lookout. Now, the River Anduin is in multiple places.
Yeah, I've swum in it.
Yep. He's swum in it on the North Island. We've seen it in the South Island. They use loads of different locations. So this is just one of many of the locations they've used. So we just, it's checking a box at this point.
So we've done a little bit of research. the opening shots of the Fellowship of the Ring, where there's some aerial footage taken of the River Anduin, that was here. River Anduin, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently there's a swing bridge nearby, which is where they actually filmed from. We've driven on further down the road. This is actually the car park for the beginning of the Kepler track, one of the great walks of New Zealand, and we're hoping to find that swing bridge. We found the swing bridge. This bit of the river looks familiar, but I can't believe I'm about to say this. I can't picture why. They say it's an aerial shot at the beginning of the Fellowship. I'm assuming it's part of the prologue. Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
This is the Kepler track. We're on the Kepler track. We're on the Kepler track. We're doing it.
We've technically done a meter. Maria's doing the Kepler track in her flip-flops. Quote from Maria, "There's a hill, I'm coming back."
The following location is in Lake Pukaki.
It's the lake that they used in the Desolation of Smaug and the Battle of the Five Armies to be the lake where Lake Town is situated. We were actually searching for the scene in the Battle of the Five Armies where the residents of Lake Town swim ashore after being attacked by Smaug. We've found lots of different coordinates and suggestions online as to where we would find this location. We've not come across it. It's bittersweet because I'm by this most beautiful lake. The blue of the lake is caused by the glaciers in Mount Cook National Park. That's what gives it its blue. This is it, the general area in which they filmed that part of the movie. Very cool to be here, just a shame not to see it in its entirety.
Our final location is Pelorus Bridge. We are officially at our last Lord of the Rings location on the South Island, which is crazy to say. And this is the scene where in The Hobbit, the dwarves wash up to shore after going down the river in the barrels. So it's a pretty iconic spot.
It's quite fitting that this is the last location that we're going to, because the first location we went to was the beginning of the barrel scene in the Desolation of Smaug. So that was a location that was just outside Topor at Tia Rapids. That's where it all started, and this is where it ended. And out at this is also where we're ending as well. Completely accidental, I might add. So this is the bridge that you drive over, walk over, and there's literally a stairwell right down next to it. And we think this is the precise area that they filmed.
So here is where Bard was standing, and then down here was where one of the dwarves was standing when they first met Bard. Well, this is the end now of this video and the end of our Lord of the Rings quest / Hobbit quest in the South Island of New Zealand.
Bittersweet. It's as I said before, it's so good to be able to end here, given where we started. We've sometimes driven hundreds of kilometers out of our way just to see a location. This one we just happened to be on. It just happened to be on our route, which made it perfect. It's such a popular location. You can see why, but also for it to be a location of the Lord of the Rings, it's extra special. It's a weird feeling. These quests that we've been going on to see the locations, this is it.
We will be leaving New Zealand very shortly.
Yeah.
We are just waiting for our van to sell, and then we will be starting our next chapter. Thank you so much, Aotearoa and New Zealand, for the wonderful adventures that you've been able to give us over the last 8 months. And hopefully one day we get to come back and do even more locations that we couldn't access.
Well, we'll just do it all over again.
We might be rich by then, who knows? Yeah. So thank you for coming on this adventure with us. Please make sure to like,
subscribe,
and turn on those notifications,
because we're here for you
every Friday.